Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video, I will show you how to create an Android plugin to compress images in Godot game engine. So let's get started. So firstly, I want to show you few images which I have inside my Android device. So if I select the first image and if I go to details, here you can see that it is almost 7.63 MB image. And also if I select this particular image, I'll just deselect the first one, and if you see this is almost 3.07 image. So we will be trying to compress these two images. Now there are two methods which I have created to compress image. In the first, so I'll just show you guys the output itself. So here you can see, again I'm mirroring my device, so the output is little laggy, just bear with me. On the first button click, whatever image the user has selected, we will compress it, but we will save it to the internal storage of our application, so it won't be visible to the user, the compressed image. In the second scenario, we will compress the image, but in this second case, we will store the image to external storage. So in case if the user wants to access it later on, he can do that as well. So I'll just click on compress image. I'll give the permission allow for image picker, and I will just select the first image which I have. Again, so the output is little laggy. Now this will take little bit of time. I'm not displaying any progress bar. If you want, you can display a progress bar as well, but once the image has been compressed, we will get the compressed image, we will just display that image on texture rect. So just bear with me for a second. In the meantime, what I have done is that I have created a cheat sheet of a sort. This is from the Godot official documentation of creating an Android v2 plugin. I have just written all the important step over here, and I will be copying those steps only instead of me going through the entire documentation as such. The first thing which you will have to do is that, um, in the meantime, the output is not yet ready, so I'll just explain you guys the step which you have to do. So first, open Android Studio, and you will have to create an Android application. It can be an empty compose application, like an empty compose activity or an empty views activity. I'll just show it to you. File, new project. Here you can either select empty activity or empty views activity and just create the project, give whatever name you feel like. But here you can see the output is ready. Now this particular image is not stored on external storage, so the user can't access it. But in the second case, I'll click on compress image to, and here you can see again we are showing the image picker, and here I'll select this last image which we have. So I'll just select this. Now again this will take a little bit of time, so be patient. Okay, coming back to where we were, so you just have to create an Android application, uh, and just wait for the Gradle syncing to finish, because the Gradle syncing will take a little bit of time, so be patient. Once the Gradle syncing is done, you will see something like this app and Gradle script. You won't see this my library. We have to create this. So to create this my library, we just have to right click on app, new, module, select Android library, and here you can name it as my library. So I already have it, that's why it is giving me an error over here. But in your case, you can change the package name to whatever you feel like, and then just click on finish, and it will again do some Gradle syncing, and you should see this my library folder being created. Now here you can see this is the output for the second button. If I click on the second button again, here you can see it has stored one more copy of this image, which is the compressed image. And if I go to my image picker, my files, okay, so the original image was 3.07 MB. Okay, I'll just do this, and now I'll select the new image which we have compressed, details, and here you can see it is almost 306 KB. Okay, so yeah, that's what this output is all about. Coming back to our code, so once you have created this my library folder, no, this module, then you will have to go to Gradle scripts. Here you will have to go to build.gradle.kts. Make sure the compile SDK is at least 35, and you will need to install the SDK tools as well. So in case if you don't know, you can go to, I think, build. Even I also forgot where exactly it is. It was somewhere over here. They have, I think, removed it from here. They keep changing the settings. Yeah, I think it is inside Android Studio settings. I'm using Compile SDK 35, which is the latest. So make sure you have installed this particular part as well, which I have installed. I think by the time there you watch it, some new image might be also available. But yeah, I'm using HDK 35. So make sure if it is HDK 34 for you inside this build.gradle of my library, make sure you update it to 35. Then you will have to go to build.gradle.kts of your app. So this one, the second one, and upgrade it to 35 over here as well as over here. Then again, coming back to our project, so this build.gradle.kts of my library, just scroll down, and here you have to add this particular dependency. So again, at the time of me recording, I'm using Godot 4.3.0, but if you are using some higher version, you should change that particular version over here. So in case if Godot 4.4.0 is out, so you should change this 4.3.0 to 4.4.0, whatever Godot version you are using. Once that is done, here you will see a sync now button. You just have to click on the sync now button. Again, it will download all the dependencies for us, so the Gradle syncing again will take a little bit of time, so be patient. Once that is done, I'll close everything else. Okay, then we will have to go to my library, go to manifest. No, first go to Kotlin plus Java and open this first folder, and you will have to create this Kotlin file. To create it, just right click, new Kotlin file, and name it as Godot Android plugin. I have already created it, and these are all the imports. So firstly, I would request you to copy all the imports which I have. So I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and copy the import, because there are some variables who has multiple imports, so it's very likely that you might have a wrong import. One good example is this dictionary. It is available in Godot as well as in Java, but we want the Godot one. Then here I have created a class Godot Android plugin, which extends from Godot plugin. I have given our plugin some name. Then here I have created this dictionary. With the help of this dictionary, we will be sending the compressed image from native Android side to the Godot side. And here I'm just checking what Android version you are on. Depending on that, we will be requesting the required permissions. Then here we are overriding this particular method, and here we are registering our signal. So this signal will help us to send the image back from native Android side to Godot side. Then here I have defined a method called pick image and compress, and have saved like change this as false. So this I have created this variable just to check what button or what method was called. And so this is one of the method which was called on the first button click, and as soon as you click it, we basically check for permissions, whether we have it from our image picker or not. If we don't have the permission, we request for permission, and once the permission is granted, we open the image picker. Similarly over here as well, I have just changed this variable to true, and again, all right, and on the second button click also I'm doing the same thing, only this value is set to true. So again, we are requesting for image picker permission. If not granted, display the dialog to the user. If it is already granted, show the image picker to the user. So once you request the permission, the callback comes over here, and here we are checking if the request code is image request code, which we were passing over here as well as over here. Then we just do intent.action pick, flag grant request URI permission, intent.type, and start the activity for result. And once the user has granted the picked a particular image, we get the image URI over here. So from here we are requesting the request code over here. So this particular code will call this particular code. Once we have the image URI, we get the MIME type of that particular image from the image URI, and we also get the extension. Now on a main thread of our coroutine, we just compress our image. So this method I will show you shortly, and here I have defined the compression threshold. You can change this value to whatever you feel like. And once the compressed image is not equal to null, extension is not equal to null, MIME type is also not equal to null, then if this particular boolean is true, then we save the image to external storage. Again, this method I will show you shortly. And then from the URI we get the byte array, and then from this particular method we send that byte array back to Godot side. Now suppose one more thing which I want to highlight, you don't want to save the image anywhere, you just want to compress the image, then this is also a byte array. If you check the data type, it is also a byte array. So this compressed image also you can directly send it back to Godot side. In case if you don't want to save it to external storage, don't want to save it to internal storage, so you can do that as well. But in case if this boolean is false, then I'm calling the save image method, and which will save the image to internal storage, and then get the byte array from that internal storage saved image and send it to Godot side. In case something went wrong, I'm just displaying a toast message, and here I have created the companion object for the two variables which we have defined. Then for save image, here you can see this is boilerplate code which takes a byte array as well as a file name, and we just call activity.open file output, pass the output stream to it and write to that particular bytes. Similarly, this is an helper method to convert bitmap to byte array. I won't go into details, but yeah, you can just copy paste this code. Then to display the image, we first get the input stream, get the bitmap, then we convert it to byte array, and here you can see I'm assigning it to our dictionary and then sending it back to the Godot side. So this is how you send the image to Godot side. Then for compressing image, so this is how we compress the image. Again, this is the logic for it. Even I have copy pasted this code from Philip Lackner's YouTube channel. So yeah, even I'm not really good at this, so you can just copy paste it. Now suppose if the threshold which you have sent, it's not guaranteed that the image will always be compressed to that threshold. So if you remember, we were sending this particular threshold, right? So it's not always guaranteed, because if you see the compress image, uh, if I just scroll down a little, here you can see if either one of this satisfies, then I'm stopping the compression. Okay, again I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video, even I'm not really good at this. So basically we are doing the compression on a background thread. That's all I will say. So yeah, simply scroll through this. Then here save image to external storage, again the same thing. This is for saving the file to external storage. Now this is only available from Android O, so be careful with that. If you want to apply some kind of checks, you can do that as well. So yeah, but this is all the code for it. Again, I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to copy all the code which I have. Then this is the code for getting bitmap from URI. Again, I have just copy pasted this code, and once we have the byte array, we assign it to our dictionary and send it back to the Godot side. So yeah, that's it. Again, I'll simply scroll through this file. In case if you have missed anything, feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy paste the code. So yeah, that's it. Now in case if you are wondering about the Godot v2 plugin documentation, you can go to this particular URL as well. But like I mentioned, I have created one cheat sheet of sort. Now the next thing which we have to do is we'll have to go to project android manifest.xml. You will have to copy this particular code. So this is for getting the image permissions depending on what Android version you are using. This will be same for everyone, but this should be your plugin name. In case if you forgot, this is my plugin name, so do remember this name because we will be using in lot other places as well. So this should be your plugin name. Now this is our Kotlin file name, Godot Android plugin, and this is my package name, so you will have to change it to your own package name. So here you can see, you will see your package name over here, so just copy paste it over here. Once that is done, you will have to go to the project drop down, and here inside your library you will have to create a folder called export scripts template. So you can just right click new directory, name it as export scripts template, and it will create a folder for you. Inside that you have to create two files, export underscore plugin.gd and plugin.cfg. Now to create a file, you can just right click new file and give export plugin.gd and repeat the same thing for plugin.cfg as well. So for plugin.cfg, things are simple. So you can just copy paste this code. I have again copy pasted it from the documentation. Only thing is, this should be your plugin name. Change the description and author to whatever you feel like. Then here is another file which we have to create. Again, I have just copy pasted this from documentation. Only thing which you have to be careful about is this thing should be your plugin name. Rest everything I have just copy pasted it from the documentation. So I'll just show it to you. Yeah, so you can just copy paste this and this as well. Again, this should be your plugin name. So once this is done, you can go to Android drop down again. Let me check my steps. So I've shown you this. Then you have to run this particular command. So if I show you my project, here you can see inside the Godot folder, this is my Android project. We will create the Godot project in a bit. So wherever is your root of your Android project located, you just have to open terminal, and I will just close this. Okay, I'll just clear everything out and I'll just cd to my Android project. Okay, and I'll just run this particular command /gradle assemble. Now if there are any mistakes in your code, this will fail. But once this passes, if you go to your Android project, go to your library, build, outputs, AR, and okay, this command is still running, so let's just wait. So once this is finished, you will see these two folders being generated. We will be using this folder in a bit. Next, you will have to create your Godot project. So I have just created one Godot project. Once you create your Godot project, firstly go to your Godot project. So I have created outside our Android project. Firstly, go to the Godot project, create a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name. Inside that, we will have to first copy these two files. So the files which we created inside our Android project, right, this plugin.cfg and export_plugin.jd. So just copy these two files inside your plugin folder, and also create a folder called bin. Inside bin, you will have to create two folders, debug and release. Now inside debug, you have to copy the debug AR file which we have generated, and inside release, you have to copy the release AR file which we have generated. In case if you forgot, just quickly show it to you. So this is my Android project. Go to library, build, outputs, AR. Copy the debug AR file to a debug folder, release AR file to the release folder, and you will have to rename it. So the file name for debug would be whatever is your plugin name -debug.ar, and for release it would be whatever is your plugin name -release.ar. Once this is done, you will have to go to your Godot project, go to project, install Android build template. If you are doing this for the very first time, you will also have to download it. I have already installed it and downloaded it, that's why it is showing something like this. But once that is done, you should see this Android folder being created inside your project. Then you will have to go to project, export, click add Android. So here Android has been added. At the bottom here, it might be showing a red color text with a fix import button. Just click on that fix import button, and here check this use Gradle build. In case you don't know what Android architecture you are running on, just select all four of this. Then close this, go to project settings, go to plugins, and make sure you check this checkbox. In case if you're not able to see this particular thing, that means there is some indentation issue inside this two files. So make sure there is no indentation issue in these two files. Okay, once that is done, I have just created one scene with two buttons, if you see, and one texture rect as well, and I have just assigned one script to this. So I have just added this on press events for our button inside our script. So these are the two buttons, and also I have referenced our texture rect as well over here. Then here I have just named our plugin. Again, this name should be your own plugin name, and here one variable for Android plugin. And once the ready method is called, we are just initializing our plugin as well as connecting our signal as well. And for the signal, we just get the data. Here I create a new image. In case if there is any we just load JPEG from buffer. In case if there is any error, we just print it to the console. If not, then just do texture rect.texture and just copy this particular code, and on button pressed, we just call this particular do methods which we have defined. Yeah, that's it. Let me quickly check. So we are done with this. Done with this. Yeah, that should be it. Thank you for watching. Bye.